Should you buy a Subaru WRX or STI in a manual transmission if you don't know how to drive stick? My answer to that question is yes, and the reason being is because that's what I did. I mean, I did know the basics of driving stick. I've driven a stick vehicle quite a few times before, but I've never daily driven a stick vehicle, and you know, it was a challenge that I wanted for myself. It was something I wanted to do. I've always wanted to have a manual transmission car, and I don't know, I was too afraid to do it, I guess, when I bought my last Subaru. So previously I had a 2015 Subaru Impreza. I mean, the hatchback is great, but that car was so slow. So I traded it in on this, and I haven't regretted it for a second. I can say, out of other vehicles that I've driven that are manual transmissions, this clutch was one of the harder ones to get used to. But once you get used to the clutch, it's a super easy car and fun car to drive. For me, I do wish I would have done this sooner. I wish I would have just bought a WRX in 2015, and then I probably would have had it paid off already and ready to go to buy the next generation STI that is going to be coming out in the next few years. But the thing is, you can't really anticipate how you're going to be, where you're going to be, you know. So for me, it made sense to wait, and I think I did this at a good time where I've had a lot of time to save up money, to make sure I can afford this car, to make sure I'm living in a place that is not going to abuse the car, because I was living in upstate New York, and my old Subaru took a beating. Like, it didn't matter how much I tried to keep it clean or what I did, it just snowed so much there that I had to, there was nothing I could do to stop the surface rust on the subframe of that car. As much as I tried, as much as I cleaned it, it just did not work. So for me, it was one of those, well, I'm glad I didn't do it maybe, because my vehicle probably would have been trashed by now. I can say that the one thing I do love about this car is no matter where I am or what I'm doing, if I get on it, it's just, oh my god, I love it. It's so much fun. It's not the fastest car out there. You're not going to be racing people from stoplights, but the fact that it's a manual transmission makes it so much more engaging than any other vehicle I've ever driven. It's unreal how much better of a driving experience you have when you're driving a manual transmission. Like, you don't feel disconnected, you don't feel complacent, you're not distracted in any way. I don't know, I think that everybody should be forced to learn how to drive a manual transmission. I think they would be more engaged, they would understand what's happening on the road more. But that's a whole nother topic, save the manuals. For learning how to drive stick in a Subaru WRX, I could say it took me to be super comfortable with the vehicle about 3 months. After about the first 2.5 weeks, I really felt great about it. But the thing is, like I said, it wasn't the first time I've ever driven a stick vehicle. And there are things that you can do. If you don't know someone that has a stick car or a manual car, you can look around for driving schools. So I hadn't driven stick in about 2 years, and I was like, man, I'm gonna stall, I'm not gonna be able to leave the parking lot when I buy this damn car. And I was worried. I don't know anybody. My brothers got rid of their cars that were manual transmission. I don't know many people in this area, so I didn't have anybody to say, hey, let me take your car for a spin and practice a little bit. So I started digging around, and I found a driving school. It was a little steep for the pricing. It was 2.5 hour lesson for $200. But I said, you know what, screw it. I took the lesson. It was a 2015 Camaro for the instructor car. And I was probably about 30 minutes into my driving lesson, and instructor was just like, I think you're good to go buy your car. And I just had to laugh because I realized it at that point. I think I just needed the justification of someone else telling me, like, you're not bad at driving stick, you just haven't done it in a while. But that being said, the clutch in the WRX is, it's okay. I'll go with that. It's spring-loaded, so if you're not used to that, a lot of people are not. It is a little bit annoying. So I always try and be a little bit more respectful in these areas. I also have the air conditioner on because it is 85 degrees or 84 degrees outside. But yeah, as far as for should you buy a Subaru as a first car to learn how to drive stick, absolutely. There's nothing about this car that's going to stop you from learning how to be a proficient driver of a manual transmission. If anything, I could say that the car community for Subaru is helpful. I mean, a lot of them are bashful, but a lot of them are also helpful. As far as power-wise, these are not the fastest cars, but it's so perfect for a daily driver. I mean, most of the roads by me where I have to go on are all 45, and you do have to watch out because, like I said, there's a lot of people out walking, crossing the street, dogs out, cops, lots of cops. New Jersey loves to have their cops sitting out on back roads. It's very strange. But yeah, so for me, the hardest thing about driving this manual transmission when I got it was learning how to downshift. I would say the best thing to do is, as you're going through the gears normally, like let's say you're in first gear and you go to shift to second, I normally shift into second somewhere around 14 to 20 miles per hour, and just recognize where your RPMs are at. So I'm cruising right now in fourth gear at 47 miles per hour, and I'm at 2,500 RPMs. If I wanted to downshift to third, I'd have to rev up my RPMs to a little over 3,000 to downshift. Right now at 40 miles an hour, I would, if I wanted to downshift to second, which I will as I approach the stop sign, obviously I'm going to have to rev up quite a bit higher. So from 35 miles an hour down into second, we're revving up to 3,500 RPMs. It's just something you get used to and you learn over time with your vehicle. You get to learn the RPMs, and it's just the feel that you get for your own car. Nobody's going to be able to teach it to you. You will learn how the car drives, and you can't be discouraged when you first start driving the vehicle. And I think that's the hardest thing for some people, is they get so discouraged. And they just need to remember that, you know, like, you're learning. Everybody learns at some point. Nobody's going to be like, oh, look at that idiot, they stalled. Like, nobody cares. You just restart your car and keep going. You know, like, nobody at those stoplights is going to know who you are or remember or care. Just focus on what you're doing, and focus on doing what you were there to do, and that's drive the car. And once you're able to do that, you don't have to worry about the confidence aspect of it. It'll come to you. Oh, and hills? Hill assist is great in this car. You'll never have to worry about the fear of hills, and I promise you that. And if anybody tells you to disable the hill assist, tell them to shut up. You're learning how to drive stick. Do not disable your hill assist. Trust me on it. As much as of an annoyance it is for some people, It's fantastic if you're new and learning how to drive. So that was just a quick walk around and drive around with me. I'm gonna head in for the day. I'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully in the next few weeks I'll be installing the intake on my car, and I have another mod coming in the mail, which will be a surprise, so look out for that. Peace out.